Welcome to the Legalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Sager, and I'm dedicated to covering common legal issues for small business owners and just how some of the world's most elite entrepreneurs have handled legal issues themselves. In true attorney fashion, the information in this episode is not legal advice. This is for informational purposes only, and you should always consult with your attorney before implementing any of the information. Now, on to the show. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Legalpreneur Podcast. This week we are chatting all about LegalZoom and similar websites. Are they legit? Are they worth it? What's the deal with these sites? I am going to be giving you honestly like 3 reasons why you probably shouldn't use these companies. If you've used them in the past, no big deal. Hopefully no harm was done. Unfortunately, we have tons of clients that have worked with these companies in the past and just they never got the job done. So trying to educate you guys on the real deal about these companies and why you should probably just be working with a small business attorney in the long run. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first reason that I'm not a huge fan of these companies is because they're not actually a law firm, but a lot of people are misled to believe they are a law firm. And these companies specifically that I'm talking about, LegalZoom, IncFile, Trademarkia, all the companies, if you Google like cheap trademark or how to file an LLC, these are the companies that pop up. They're paying probably $50 to $100 per click with Google to advertise for these search terms. That's because they know they can get you in the long run, which I'm going to explain in more detail. But a lot of people are misled to believe that these companies are law firms, but they are not law firms. Whatever service that you sign up with them for, whether it's an LLC filing or a trademark filing or creating your own will or something like that, the only thing you're paying them for is to use their specific forms. And which leads me to the next reason why I'm not a huge fan is because if you mess something up on those forms, they legally cannot fix it because they're not a law firm. If you fill out something wrong on the form, it's going to get filed that way. And that's how they get you in the long run. Because if you mess something up, they come back and say, hey, this was rejected for this reason. We can fix it for you for this amount of money. And that's typically when they jack up the prices. And there's another reason, but let me go a little bit more into detail about this. We've had one client in particular that filed a trademark. I believe it was with LegalZoom or it was Trademarkia. I don't know, one of those companies. They're all the same. And they filed the trademark with that company, got the application through, but the application got a refusal. Even though that my client paid less to get the trademark filed than they would have paid me, they had to pay almost double in order to respond to that refusal than they would have paid me to get that done. So if you work with these companies, normally you will be charged more in the long run than if you were just to work with a small business attorney up front. Because when you get these types of refusals, whether it's a trademark or an LLC or whatever you're doing, they then tell you, hey, we have these law firms that can help you out and these are their rates. Well, those law firms are jacking up the prices. And that's how LegalZoom gets you in the long run. So I would either steer clear of these companies because of the fees that you may endure in the long run. And that means you can either do it yourself, just go straight to whatever site that you may need to use. If it's an LLC filing, then you want to go to your state Secretary of State's office. Or if you're wanting to file a trademark, it's uspto.gov. Or if it's a copyright application, then it's copyright.gov. You can do it yourself or just work with a small business attorney from the beginning. Because when you work with a small business attorney, whether it's myself or any other small business attorney, we truly, I'm so passionate about my clients and the work that I do for my clients that I love getting to know my clients. It's a much more personal experience. And I get to know your business in the long run. I can advise you on additional things. Hey, you need this protection, or hey, you may want to consider this protection. And if you're using LegalZoom or if you're just doing it yourself, you just don't have that, just don't have somebody having your back like that. That's why I highly suggest working with a small business attorney for these things, and even just to have somebody in your corner to ask questions to. What about when somebody has a question about a refund or a contractor? Do I have to do this? Do I have to, like, those are the questions that the small business attorney can help you answer. For us, you don't have to pay hourly. You're not paying us by the minute to read your email, respond to your email, or we're not charging you for every minute you're on the phone. That's why I'm very passionate about doing what I do, and I'm very passionate about small business owners working with small business attorneys. Now, there's a third reason that I am not a huge fan of these companies, and is because you really need somebody to have your back in multiple situations. Because when you're a small business owner, it's not just getting the LLC filed, it's not just getting the trademark filed, it's all those questions that I just mentioned. Hey, this person asks for a refund. Do I really have to give them a refund? Or what should I actually do? Like, how do I best handle this situation? That's exactly what my firm does with our Legalpreneur membership. We have clients ask all the time, like, hey, what do I do in this situation? What do I do in this situation? We can not only legally advise you on those things, but because we have the business experience, we can also give you like, hey, this is what legally what you have to do. But if you want to appease the client, if you want a good mutually beneficial resolution, this is what you can do. So we're not always just telling you like, hey, this is what the law is. We tell you what the law is, but then we give you options in order to make sure that you're still going to be thriving in your business. Because the worst thing that can happen for a small business owner is you get one bad client, one bad apple that goes on and just tries to cancel your company. And I hate seeing that, but I've seen it more than once. But when you have somebody in your corner that can help you handle these situations, it can really benefit you in the long run as a small business owner. So 3 reasons. That's really why I'm not going to say they're bad companies. I'm not going to say like, hey, absolutely don't use these companies, but it's 3 reasons why I don't think you should be using those companies. Number 1, they're not a law firm and they mislead people to believe they are a law firm. Number 2 is you really are just paying them to use their specific forms because whatever you give them, that's what they have to file. And you end up spending more money in the long run if you mess something up. And then number 3 is you really just need somebody in your corner as a small business owner. I've preached this before. The moment you become a business owner, you are held to the same standard as any other company, whether it's a Fortune 500 company or it's just a mid-sized company. Like, you're a small business owner, guess what? You're in business, so you are responsible for so much more. You're now held to a higher standard, and you have to maintain that higher standard by making sure that you're doing the right things in business. And oftentimes, well, I'm going to say 99% of the time, the things you do wrong in your business, you didn't do it on purpose. You just didn't know what the law was. And that's okay. You have to forgive yourself, but you also have to make sure you are taking the time and you're actually doing the right thing by having that person to consult with, having that attorney, having that advisor. So those are 3 reasons why I don't think those companies are great. They can actually get the job done, but I can't tell you how many clients we've had, especially from LegalZoom, that they paid LegalZoom for something and then LegalZoom didn't actually do the work. And then people say, hey, I call this company and I'm on hold forever. And then you got to find this out and this out. It's just, I've heard it's not great experiences. If you've already worked with them, you've had a great experience, that's wonderful. Like, I'm very happy for you. But I know that's not the case for everybody. Like, that's my little spiel on those companies that mislead people to thinking that they are actually a law firm when they're not. Let me know if you have any questions about these companies. I would love to hear from you. All right, you guys, I'm out. I'll see you next week. If you found this information helpful, I would be so grateful if you could share it with a fellow business owner. And it doesn't cost anything to rate, review, or subscribe to the show. Your support helps me reach more listeners, which allows me to support more business owners in their entrepreneurial journey. I'll see you next episode.